So yesterday, the government's Central Statistics Office, the CSO, has come out and said that February's tourism of 2025 compared to February of 2024 is down 30%. And more alarmingly, the spend of those who come is actually down over 30%. I think they said about 31%. Now, if you follow me on the old tweet box machine, you'll see I have been screaming this. And back in mid-February, when the CSO came out with January's figures to say it was a disaster, down about 25%, I said, if you think this is bad, wait till you see what's coming in February. It is going to be the same, if not much worse. And yet again, I am proven 100% right that tourism in this country is decimated. By the way, this has been going on for over 6 months now, where the trend has been continuously coming down year on year, month on month, as to where we stand with tourism. And now 30% down. March will also be down, and April is going to be an absolute shitstorm of figures. It's going to be way off compared to previous years. Now, I have been very vocal about this. Everybody knows that. As I said, if you follow me on Twitter, you'll see just how vocal I've been about this, which I highly recommend you follow me, by the way. That if you take so much accommodation, this is not rocket science. If you take so much accommodation out of tourism to give to immigrants, 90% of what the government is now confirming, 90% of which should not be here, well, it does not take a genius to realise that tourism is fucked. It's absolutely destroyed. And that is exactly what we have done. However, I don't want to be the person who's turning around and saying it's all the illegal immigrants coming in, it's their fault. That's caused the knock-on effect as to why tourism is where it is, because anything involved in hospitality, eating out, the knick-knack shop, the Jarvies, everything has gone through the roof of cost-wise. And it is so expensive to do business right now that it is literally like the people at home, the privates as we call them, the couples or the families, not those who are going around in the tour buses, the disposable income has been so slashed because costs of everything has gone so through the roof that they simply do not have the money to come out. And it is all because of failed government policies over the last 5 years that have us here today. And I'm not going to hear from anybody any other way. This is 100% the reason. So in 2019 and before, when we were 35% cheaper in the restaurant, we were making money. Now it is so expensive. It is costing me over €100,000 a year extra. €100,000 a year extra to do business than what it was back in 2019 and beforehand. Well, again, it does not take a rocket science to figure out as to how screwed our industry is. Most restaurateurs that I know are trading at a break even, if even, right now. It is just trying to survive, just try and get from 1 year to the next. Let's not worry about making money. Let's just try and survive. That is the mode that we are all in. So when they scream about drop the VAT, which the Restaurant Association of Ireland have always been shouting for, trust me, I said from day one, this is not the solution. This is not the solution, because it doesn't matter what the VAT rate is if my turnover has gone to shit. And that is exactly what's happening. So that's not going to save me money. The fact that we're actually trading at a loss and at a break-even point, it's very simply, we can't pass on. If the VAT has dropped, we're not going to be able to pass on that saving anyway, because we're still trading at a break-even, if even. So that is not the solution. What most people don't realize is a small employer like myself, from anywhere from 8 to 10 to maybe 12 people in peak season, is I am paying for the luxury of hiring people. I am paying close to 40,000, that's a 40,000 euro to the government to hire people. That's my privilege of hiring people. I have to pay employers RSI to the tune of about 40,000 euro. And I'm a small employer. 10 people on average throughout the year. So that cost has to be built in somewhere along the lines of my pricing. And that's gone up. And in September, they're forcing employers to pay for the pension contributions for all our staff. And in January again of 2026, the minimum wage goes up again. And I have said, if you continuously put up the minimum wage, everything shoots up, because all wage brackets shoot up then because of that. And those who are supposed to benefit from a minimum wage increase are actually those who suffer the most, because everything has become so expensive and they are actually worse off. You give them €50 a week extra, they get about 25 after tax, but it now costs them about €80 extra a week to survive. It is absolutely batshit crazy stupid. And how do we know that I'm right? Because since we've been doing this since 2005, it has never worked. They have never turned around and said, how about the government take the hit? How about we remove them completely from the tax bracket so that those on the minimum wage get their full salary and they can actually have money and they can actually spend, and then therefore the restaurants or the small shops or whatever don't need to increase their prices. But no. We're not going to do that, because that means the government is going to have more money of a deficit. That we can't have that happening, because our immigration bill is now 4 billion with a B per annum to run. 90% of which should not be here or getting any of that. So could you imagine if we drop that €4 billion bill by 90%? But it won't happen. And here's the problem. This is why I'm shouting and screaming this so much, because now they're going to have to come after you. And how do I know that? Well, it's very, very simple. Because we fuck all else to give them. They've squeezed us over and over and over again. There is literally nothing left to give. So they're coming after you. They're coming after your taxes. They're coming after everything. They're coming after you. And that's why people need to stand up, pay attention, and sort this shit out once and for all. Because the path we are heading down is utter destruction. We have become so uncompetitive that when I'm trying to hit rates with my tour operators, they're going, look, we might just take the dinner out of it, because it's too expensive, because we need to charge XYZ onto the customer, and they're just not going to pay that. So we might just do bed and breakfast. Actually, we might just do room only, because it's become so competitive. It's become too expensive. So we need to fill the plug. We need to fill the gap somehow. So we're going to have to come after all the other people that it hasn't affected now. Now they're coming after you for the money, which means austerity, higher taxes, because nobody is standing up and calling these morons out for the absolute bollocks they have made of the economy. If you see a building that collapsed, God, I never knew, but if you actually looked closely over the last few years, you'd have seen the cracks in the building that was saying, hey lads, there's an issue here. And that's what we've done to this economy. We have destroyed tourism over the last 4 or 5 years. Some might say it's on purpose. I don't know. Depends what conspiracy theory or rabbit hole you want to go down. But we have absolutely decimated the tourism industry, and we're still doing it. And the problem is that the hotels that are left in the system that haven't been signed over to Ukrainians or refugees or IPAS centres, they go, this is great. Sure, I'm charging twice the rate. But now all of a sudden, people aren't coming, because I don't want to spend €500 in a 3-4 star hotel. I have no intention of staying in my room all day. I want to get out. I want to see the town. I want to see the surrounding areas. I want to go into the knick-knack shops. I want to go for a meal out. I want to go for a few pints out. I can't afford it. If my entire budget is blown on my room to stay in the hotel, I can't afford. And that's what's happened. It's as simple as that. That is what happened. But the big problem now is that they can't squeeze any more out of us, because we have nothing left to give. Nothing left to give. We're already seeing thousands of businesses shut down. It's going to get worse. Any of the business people I'm talking to, they've used up all the resources. They've cashed in their pensions. They don't pay themselves. They're working more hours around the clock to try and cover for staff that they can't afford to pay. There's nothing left to give. So you're going to see more and more closures. So they have to get the money from somewhere else, because they won't do mass deportation. They won't stop illegal immigrants coming into the country, because they're utterly fucking clueless. Or maybe this is what they're trying to do. Maybe, I don't know. As I said, depends what conspiracy theory you want to believe or listen to. But either way, the crack in the global economy, or even just keep it more, the cracks in the domestic economy is that tourism has been decimated. And now we're beginning to realize how many industries depend on tourism. Now we realize who are actually indirectly involved with tourism. The taxi drivers, the knick-knack shop, the Jarvies, all these. So now all of a sudden, they've all been squeezed too. The painter, the decorator, all these people, that's now, everybody is being squeezed. They've confirmed what I have said. Anyone who's followed me knows that tourism is now down 30% February 25 to February 24. And we have a shitstorm of a path that we are heading down. And I can tell you one thing. When this goes past the point of no return, which in my opinion already has, there's no coming back from it. You are talking serious austerity. Let me know what you think. Am I rambling too much? Am I talking too much shite? Do you agree with me? Can you see what's going on in your industry, in your business? I think most people are going to say yes. So the government, it's up to you guys. I know you won't give a shit. I know you won't do anything about it. But that's why tourism is down 30%. All because of you. All because of your fault. All because of your failed policies that have fucked up doing business. Let me know what you think.